The Knockouts have delivered some of the most captivating performances to date on The Voice Season 27, which has been a frenzy of raw talent and emotional highs over the course of the season. At the Knockouts competition, which took place on March 31, 2025, a Los Angeles-based singer-songwriter named Simone Marijic, who was 20 years old at the time, walked the stage to perform She Used to Be Mine by Sarah Bareilles. She competed against her colleague Barry Jean Fontenot, who received coaching from Michael Bublé. Her heartbreaking performance left coaches Adam Levine, John Legend, Kelsea Ballerini, and Bublé himself in amazement. It also sparked a flood of fan comments and solidified her position as a star, despite the fact that she did not progress. During her vulnerable performance, which was steeped in sincerity, Simone displayed her artistry and underscored the reasons why The Voice continues to be a platform for moments that will be remembered forever. Let's take a look at what made this performance so remarkable, beginning with Simone's journey and moving on to the responses of the coaches and the long-lasting impact that her time on the program had. All the way to the Knockouts, Simone's journey. Simone Marijic's journey to become a member of The Voice began before she made her debut in Season 27. Simone has been immersed in music ever since she was 5 years old, and she is currently a third-year student at the University of Virginia, where she is pursuing a double major in music and history. She has been trained in classical voice and piano. Her background includes Phoebe Bridgers, Brandi Carlile, and Sarah Bareilles, all of whom have contributed to the formation of her folk-pop indie sound. She brought this sound to life at her blind audition with Olivia Rodrigo's Favorite Crime. As a result of that performance, Kelsea Ballerini and Michael Bublé were invited to take the chair, and Simone chose to be a member of Team Kelsea because of her maternal nature. It was during the battles that she duetted with Iris Herrera on Lizzie McAlpine's Ceilings, but she was ultimately taken by Bublé after Kelsea chose Iris, which paved the way for her knockout moment. The Knockouts are a crucial round in which artists select their own songs, the purpose of which is to demonstrate their individuality without the benefit of a safety net of saves. She Used to Be Mine, a melancholy from Bareilles' musical Waitress, was the song that Simone chose to perform when she was paired against Barry Jean Fontenot, who had sang Bublé's cheerful Haven't Met You Yet. Due to the fact that the song was a deep examination of grief and self-discovery, it was a courageous choice that required emotional depth and vocal control. It became more personal for Simone because of her connection to Bareilles, who is one of her musical heroes, and her rehearsal with Bublé provided a glimpse of the vulnerability that was to come. According to what she said to NBC, "I want to be fully immersed, with the intention of transporting herself and the audience into the plot of the song." A performance that captured the hearts of many. Moments after Simone made her entrance onto the stage, the mood began to change. She exuded a quiet confidence, and her focus was evident. She was dressed in a manner that was basic yet elegant. While the first few notes of She Used to Be Mine were being played, Simone's voice, which was both crystal clear and delicate, captivated the audience. Throughout Simone's performance, the lyrics of the song, which were about a woman who was reminiscing about her hopes that had faded away, resounded, with each phrase filled with ache and tenacity. Not only did her falsetto soar smoothly, which earned her praise from Bublé later on, but John Legend pointed out that the small cracks in her voice brought authenticity to her performance. Her eyes sparkled with tears as she stood beside the bridge, a moment that her followers described as gut-punchingly very real. The performance that Simone gave was not merely technical, rather, it was transformative. Through her own experiences as a young artist negotiating her identity and ambition, she embraced the protagonist of the song and channeled her own experiences. In a way that was both delicate and forceful, her wording mimicked Bareilles' style while yet felt authentically her own. There was a clear demonstration of emotion among the audience, which included her family members who were sitting in the stands, and social media was flooded with remarks such as "Simone owned that stage, she's a storyteller." However, in contrast to Barry's gregarious and crowd-pleasing performance, Simone's introspective approach required courage, as she exposed her innermost thoughts in a manner that seemed unusual for a competitive environment. She didn't just sing, she felt every word, said one user. She was absolutely on fire. The responses of the athletes, the comments made by the instructors were evidence of the influence that Simone had. In his often nuanced criticism, John Legend lauded the intentional vocal breaks that provided her performance with a sense of texture. He referred to her performance as heartfelt and awesome. Her emotional connection was praised by Adam Levine, who expressed his regret that he did not turn for her in the blinds. He said, "You were so connected, really great." Kelsey Ballerini, who had previously served as Simone's coach, praised her musical theater quality, pointing out that her voice had a drama that was reminiscent of Broadway. The most difficult decision that Michael Bublé had to make was to praise her performance, which he described as pretty and effortless. He also praised her development since she joined his team. Nevertheless, Bublé made the contentious decision to go with Barry, citing the lovable spirit and promise that he possesses. Fans were taken aback by the decision, with several of them exclaiming, "Simone definitely won that." A gesture that was inspired by Kelsey's similar act earlier that night. Bublé tempered the blow by providing Simone with his phone number, stating, "This isn't the end," and pledging to assist her beyond the show. A similar act had been performed earlier that evening. In spite of the fact that there were no thefts available, Bublé had already used his on Angie Ray. The coach's praise and Bublé's gesture highlighted Simone's unquestionable brilliance nonetheless. The coaches knew she was special, even if she didn't move on. A fan wrote in a comment that was posted on the internet, "It is because of this moment that, in a tournament that is typically dominated by flash and power, Simone's performance stood out due to the fact that it was somewhat vulnerable. This song, She Used to Be Mine, is not one for showboating. Rather, it is a quiet storm that requires the vocalist to dig deep throughout the song." Due to Simone's ability to demonstrate her talent while maintaining a balance between restraint and intensity, she has garnered comparisons to Bareilles herself. The decision she made was a reflection of her personality as a singer-songwriter, with a focus on storytelling rather than vocal acrobatics. This was a risk that paid off emotionally, if not in terms of competition. Because of the format of the knockouts, which allows musicians to perform solo without the presence of mentors, their genuineness is displayed. The performance that Simone gave was like getting a look into her soul, and it resonated with people who have had periods of self-doubt in their own lives. It was not a performance that she shed tears. Rather, they were the culmination of a journey that began with a whim audition and ended on a national platform. According to what she shared with the Cavalier Daily of the University of Virginia, the experience helped her become more self-assured, in part because of her Virginia Bells a cappella group, which encouraged her throughout the process. It was not just about the voice that was happening at this moment, it was about Simone asserting her own voice. The reactions of fans and the protests immediately following Simone's elimination, there was a tense atmosphere. Fans swarmed social media with posts that referred to her performance as Broadway-worthy and questioned Bublé's decision to sing on Broadway. One person noted, "Simone She Used to Be Mine broke me. How was that not a steal?" In response to the song, "Barry was fun, but Simone was art," another person in the group contended. The backlash was a reflection of the views expressed by Soap Central, which highlighted Simone's technical brilliance and emotional depth by pointing out the fury that fans felt over the choice. As no one was able to save her, some people thought that the coach's steel limitations, which were one per knockout, played a role in the situation. Despite the defeat, Simone's fan base continued to expand. As a result of her genuineness and the forthcoming EP, The Hearkening, which is scheduled to be released later in 2025, she has seen an increase in the number of followers on both Instagram and TikTok. Her first single, titled Until the Morning Dew Arrives, was released on March 20. Fans pointed to her performance on The Voice as evidence that she has the potential to become a famous singer. Her prominence was only increased as a result of the incident, with many people believing that she was a frontrunner who deserved improved conditions. Take a look ahead. Leaving The Voice was not the conclusion but rather the beginning of Simone's journey. According to UBA News, Bublé continued to provide guidance for her EP after the show, in addition to continuing to mentor her. Her rendition of She Used to Be Mine continues to be a highlight of Season 27, and it has been replayed on both YouTube and Peacock, where it has amassed a significant number of views. It serves as a reminder of the power that The Voice possesses to begin careers, regardless of whether or not it is successful. The folk pop style that Simone has developed over the years through a combination of classical training and a cappella has established her as an artist to keep an eye on, and her admirers are already clamoring for her next move. Moments like this, which are honest, human, and unforgettable, are what make The Knockouts, which airs at 8/7C and 9/8 on April 7, so successful. The performance of She Used to Be Mine by Simone Marijic was more than just a performance. It was a declaration of who she is, a storyteller who is both vulnerable and powerful. A supporter expressed their opinion that she didn't need to win to prove that she's a star. The path that Simone is on is only getting started, and her moment on The Voice will reverberate for many years to come. Her EP is also on the horizon, and her platform is expanding.